Hey YouTube, DRS2100 here, and this is my quick review of the SKS. These guys were designed in around 1943-1944 by a guy named Simonov. They actually designed this to replace some of the more powerful guns like the Mosin Nagant, just so that there would be kind of an intermediary firefight kind of weapon. Quick safety check for you guys here. Nothing in there. This one has a 5-shot magazine, but out of the factory they have 10-shot magazines. It's a fixed magazine, so can't bring it out of there. I know there's kits you can get and so forth to give it a extra rounds, extra removable magazine. But yeah, this one is from the Tula factory. There are also the Azevisk Russian factory ones. There's so many variants of these guns. Came with this nice little strap here. Came with a lubrication bottle and a cleaning kit in the buttstock, which is kind of a neat feature. You just push this in here, and it comes. And it comes with a cleaning jag, a punch, and a brush, a plastic bristle brush. And this is actually the cleaning rod right here under the bayonet. I can flip that out for you here. It's not really sharp bayonet or anything, but I guess if you had to stab with it, you could. But it has this cleaning rod here. This guy will actually come right out of there. This barrel is the 20-inch barrel, chrome-lined, 4-groove barrel. Most of them had a 20-inch 4-groove barrel, but some of them were chrome-lined, some of them weren't. Some of the best ones are made in the Russian factory because they have the milled bolt, things like that. They come packed in cosmoline, so when you get these guys, take them down right away and get a couple cans of carburetor cleaner or brake cleaner and flush out everything. Particularly the bolt itself. If you don't clean the cosmoline out of there, it could cause what they call a slam fire. That's where the firing pin stays engaged in the forward position, and it will screw things up. It'll just want to fire every time the bolt cycles without pulling the trigger. So you definitely want to clean that out of there. Earlier SKS models, ones from like 1945 and on to I think 49, had a spring-loaded firing pin. This one does not. This is made in 1952. This is a refurbished one. So I don't know, maybe some of the parts have seen action and others have not. But either way, I mean, it's a good cheap little gun. Like, you pay I think $200-300 for these things nowadays. You get them on sale for $150 at various places. Yeah, I mean, think of this thing as an accurate version of an AK-47, or a longer range one, I should say. It's very similar to the AK in terms of the gas tube design and the fact that it uses the 7.62x39 cartridge. But this gun here, having come first, I think really popularized that cartridge for other variants like the Ruger Mini 30 and stuff like that. And I guess like the M77 Hawkeyes from Ruger, they use the 7.62x39. There's various other guns that use the 7.62x39. This is an interesting safety here. It's actually like a falling type safety that lines up to the trigger guard there. I think they designed it like this so that if in the heat of battle you needed to drop the safety while pulling the trigger, you could get the shot off quicker. So like you could just do that, like if you had to turn around or something. No real design out of the factory for an optic on this thing, but you can get receiver covers with a groove on them. So this guy would just come off and you would get a different receiver cover for it. You also can get stocks of these things from Tapco. ATI makes a stock for them. They make the Strike Force. There's a number of different stocks you can get in options and stuff galore for these guns. The sight on it is got an elevation adjustment only at the rear, but the front is actually adjustable for elevation and windage as well. By drifting the big stud out of there, you can manipulate the windage. But yeah, these will come up like this for the Yugoslavian model, which actually had a rocket launcher that you could get for it. That one had a slightly longer barrel as well. And I believe those ones weren't chrome lined. I'm not too sure on that. But yeah, I mean, this is, I mean, as a package, like, you know, if you went to the store and bought an SKS and 1,000 rounds of ammo, I mean, that's the cheapest centerfire setup ever. Like, I mean, that would probably run you a total of like $500 max, you know, and you'd have like 1,000 rounds of ammo and a good centerfire rifle that you could, you know, you can hunt with it. They make some hunting rounds, but there's a lot of military surplus that you can get for cheap. I think like $3 or $4 a box of 20. So that is definitely the cheapest centerfire round available as far as I know. But yeah, I mean, you know, everybody has one of these things, so if you're interested in getting one, I would say it's a pretty good first-time kind of rifle. Not for younger people necessarily, but, you know, if you're an adult and you're kind of getting into shooting and you want to get into some centerfire stuff, this is a good way to go. Very inexpensive, very reliable. I've never had any problems with it whatsoever. The ammo, that you can get, the bulk surplus military stuff, it's a little more resistant to slam fires than other commercially available ammo because it's got that mil-spec primer, which is actually a pretty tough primer. But still, it doesn't mean neglect the bolt and carrier on this thing. You gotta actually clean this stuff regularly. It's a very dirty ammunition, typically. But a little bit of maintenance goes a long way. But yeah, it's got the hardwood stock on here. The Chinese variants have a fiberglass stock. This one, when I got it, had this reddish kind of stain on it, which was completely degraded from the cosmoline and sitting for years. So I mean, when you grab this stock, it would rub off on your hands and you'd have all this red stuff. So I actually stripped all that off of there and just restained it. Sanded it a bit where there was lots of imperfections from, I don't know, being stored and everything else, but looks pretty cool now. Yeah, it's definitely a purpose-built gun. It weighs about 8 pounds. I mean, so you can, you know, pack it around, you know, if you want to go for a hike or whatever, and you know, it's a fun little versatile little rifle for what it is and the price point and stuff. Accuracy's pretty good. I mean, you're not going to win any competitions with it, but it's comparable to the Mini 30, and I mean, that's a much more expensive gun, so price point wise, you can't really ever go wrong with an SKS if you're a shooter. But yeah, so that's my quick review.